Hello, welcome.
Hey, thank
Thank
you.
Super excited to have you here. You're kicking us off as our first keynote, so we're going to bring your slides to the screen, and we're going to duck out.
And tell us where you're joining us from. I love the smiles and the energy. I'm guessing it's not morning where
No, it's evening here in Norway. So my name is Hans Kristian. I'm also a CNCF ambassador, and I'm a platform engineer at the Norwegian government, NAV, together here with my colleague Audun.
All right, well, we are going to duck out and leave it to you two.
Thank you. So we want to share for you a story of building a platform and a community, and how we made use those two together to shape the future of the Norwegian public sector. As we already said, my name is Audun, and it's Hans Kristian together with me. This story actually starts quite a long time back, at the very first KubeCon in Europe in Berlin for a little over 8 years ago. It was the very first time I was at KubeCon. I was there to present something about continuous delivery for the company I worked for, and I was just about to start my new job in the public sector for now. I guess maybe some of you were also there. And if you were there, you probably remember this, because this was the time when the Kelsey Hightower was the really big superstar of the Kubernetes community, and he was the keynote speaker. He got an incredible reception when he came on stage, with people shouting, and he was standing on stage yelling "Cube," and the whole audience were replying "Calm," and it was like a rock star in a rock concert. But and of course, his presentation was a great live demo, and everybody was really excited. But our story starts outside the convention, in the queue waiting to get into that conference. As I said, I was about to start working for NAV, and that was my first job in the public sector. And NAV is it's the biggest company in the Norwegian public sector, and our main mission is to pay or to get benefits to people who need it, and to get people back to work. But in the queue, I met a guy called Are. He was leading the platform team for the tax authorities. So while NAV is trying to pay money out, the tax authorities are getting money in. And we realized that our job was basically exactly the same. We were just working for different parts of the public sector. So we saw that there was great potential here for cooperation and learning from each other. And just in that queue, we met 3 or 4 other people working for other parts of the Norwegian government, trying to build platform, trying to use Kubernetes. So as soon as KubeCon was over and we came back to Norway, we got to work. We set up a Slack, and we quickly got a lot of members, and we planned our first meetup. And this was about around the time where Hans Kristian got involved as well. And this is a picture from the very first meetup we had, just 1 month after KubeCon. There was 60 participants, and there was presentations and an open space. So maybe you can talk a bit more about the community, Hans Kristian.
Yes, so this lucky encounter became what is known today as Offentlig Pass, or Public Pass Norway, a one-of-a-kind grassroots community for discussing and collaborating on all things related to modern application platforms. We have managed to gather over 2,000 engineers from 86 organizations across most of the public sector in Norway. Each year, we organize meetups where members are sharing from their own experiences on a wide variety of topics, gathering hundreds of attendees from all of Norway. And as Audun mentioned, the heart of this community is the Slack workspace. Here, members can talk and discuss freely with like-minded individuals and organizations without someone trying to sell them something. It has also become a place where you can ask questions about a service or an API from another government agency, since they are all gathered there under one roof, saving us a lot of time and frustration.
But our main job wasn't really to build a community. We wanted to build a platform. That was what we were hired to do. So at NAV, we started to build our platform, and we called it NICE. It's a NAV Application Infrastructure System. Of course, we started with the short term and retrofitted it into a longer name that kind of makes sense. And this was a part of a big transformation at NAV. Before this, we had 600 or 700 consultants, but we wanted to insource our development. I was among the very first developers at NAV, and now we have over 300 developers making services for the people of Norway. And also, making a platform was a really cool and good recruitment tool. It showed that we could use modern technologies like Kotlin, Docker, Postgres, Kafka, and Kubernetes, even though we worked in the public sector. And NICE became a really strong brand. We made stickers and t-shirts and hoodies and even socks that was really popular. And we also decided to make NICE open source. And that's being open source is really important to many developers. And this has actually evolved into not just NICE as a platform being open source, but that most of the code that we write at NAV is open source. We have over 2,000 public repositories at our GitHub organization, because we feel that the public sector code should be open and available for everyone.
So no presentation is about Kubernetes or related to Kubernetes is ever complete without our favorite configuration language, YAML. This is the NICE application manifest. This is our interface with our users, the developers. We created this back in 2018 when CRDs and RBAC in Kubernetes was just released. The operator pattern has allowed us to move to the cloud and switch out implementation details underneath with few to no changes in how the application is built or configured. And today we have 10 of these custom-built operators all working together as a part of the NICE platform. And as you probably can guess, this is a bare minimum configuration, only exposing a very simple application without any other dependencies or add-on that the platform can provide. The application manifest can easily become complex, but luckily we have documented all the different parameters and how to use them on our public documentation site. Link in the QR code. And we take great pride in having high quality and living documentation easily available for our developers. And we believe this has been crucial for adopting the platform internally. Today, the NICE platform allows our developers easy and self-service access to a golden path of functionality to build, run, and operate their application. It is built on a solid foundation of open source technologies, many of which are part of the CNCF. This has allowed us to scale the platform to hundreds of autonomous product teams, building thousands of applications and continuously rolling out new changes to production as we speak. Teams own their CI/CD pipelines for their application and calls on the platform whenever they want to build, sign, and deploy their app. The platform will provision all of the dependencies the application declares, such as databases, message queues, or caches, and no need for any other infrastructure provisioning tool or ClickUps. And just a couple of weeks ago, we successfully completed migrating all of our teams and applications over to Valky from Redis with very, very little impacting the application and sort of impact on the teams. And as a part of the application deployment, we also generate software bill of materials, also known as SBOM, which is an inventory of all the software components and their versions that the application contain. It's like the ingredients list you can find on the back of food items. We use these ingredients to scan for known vulnerabilities, and we are on our way to 100% SBOM coverage, currently at 93%. And for the longest time, the platform did not have its own graphical user interface, only APIs and CLIs. As the number of teams and applications grew, we saw the need for giving our teams a quick and easy way to get an overview, keeping track on key metrics such as known vulnerabilities, resource utilization, and cost. And we have found that giving teams access to this information improves the overall quality and reduces unnecessary spend. Government efficiency before it was cool. And as you can probably see from the screenshot, we did not go with Backstage, but opted for building our own developer portal after a lengthy evaluation. It is fully open source and available under the NICE GitHub organization. NICE Console is tailor-made to how our application operator functions, and you will find the same resources as available through the application manifest.
And NICE actually works. It's not that easy to measure how good a platform works, but this graph shows quite well how well we performed. When we started in 2017, as you can see from the graph, we had just a few deployments to production every week. But now we have close to or even over 3,000 production or deployments to production every week. And doing this, we have modernized a lot of services and products and made it possible to automate and improve public services. So now we had this great thing. We had this platform that we knew worked. And everybody wanted to learn, and we were willing to share. We met with loads of people and presented and talked to them, and we even made our own podcast about it. And at the same time, the team continued to make nice even nicer, making loads of the things that Hans Kristian just talked about. But we realized that sharing knowledge and information isn't really enough. We wanted to take this a step further. We decided we wanted to try to make NICE available as a service for other organizations in Norway. So we made NICE as a service. And we stupidly thought this was going to be quite easy. All we had to do, we thought, was to add some automation to setting up new clusters for new customers, and so we could make as many NICE environments as we wanted. Then we were ready for other customers. But it turns out that the technical parts were the easy ones. There was loads of other stuff we had to do. First of all, we had to become salesmen, and as you might know, developers doesn't necessarily make the best salesmen. We had to learn how to sell a product efficiently, and we figured out that was quite difficult. And also, there was so much red tape. So there are loads of rules and regulations around public purchasing in the public sector. So we had to find a way to sell NICE without having a tender process. And one of the things we had to figure out was if NICE needed VAT when we sold it. And of course, none of the developers knew that. We had to get lawyers. So now I won't bother you with all the details, but first of all, NICE does not need VAT. And I have a 5-page document written by a big American law or Norwegian law firm describing why and how. And we had to make loads of agreements and deals between the different parties here. So we got three different departments in Norway to agree that this was a good idea, or at least that's what we wanted to do. Figured out getting them all to agree that it was a good idea was difficult, but we managed to get everybody to agree on the fact that it wasn't a bad idea. So now we were ready for moving further on.
So today we have 2 other organizations using NICE as a service. We have the Statistics Norway and the Directorate of Agriculture. And several other government administrations and agencies are currently evaluating it. And I know many more who might be listening to this stream today also wants to use it. So this is a fully managed service where the platform team at NAV is responsible for operating and maintaining all of the platforms, including 24/7 support. Each instance of NICE is completely isolated from other instances, sharing no resources, networks, or account, and provisioning is fully automated. And I asked Statistics Norway for a quote why they chose us, and this is what they said. NICE takes care of the platform, so we can take care of the data, and I think this is very fitting for what we are trying to accomplish.
So what have we learned from doing all this over all these years? First of all, it's very important to treat your platforms as products. Try to solve the user's problems, not your own. And of course, be open source. Make a community and try to share as much as possible. And use open source, specifically in today's political climate, being independent of the big vendors has great value. And ownership is essential. So in-source your developers and your development. Having loads of developers will generate loads of good products that can be shared across public sector. So make it easy to share good products and make everything nice, and of course be nice to each other. Thank you.
Awesome. And I love the ending. Be nice to everybody. That is excellent advice.
And be open source. We love that.
So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm sure Hans Kristian and Audun, you'll stay around and answer any of those questions. Lots of great presentation claps for you. Wonderful job. Thank you so much for sharing and being part of KubeCrash and kicking us off on our day.
Yes.
Yeah, this was really, really great.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
With that, I am going to remove you from the screen, which will take me a minute.
Yes.
Thank you.
But hopefully Hans, Kristian, and Audun can hang out in the chat area if you do have questions for them. And just so you know, I know this platform can be a little bit confusing. We're using the stage area. There's a couple of different tags. There's events, stage, and my agenda. I realize there's Q&A areas in different places. We will use the Q&A in the stage tab. So everything today is going to be stage tab. So please do not leave the stage tab. Put all the chats in on that tab, and that's how we'll see it.
And for those of you who are just joining, we just want to call out to our sponsors, Akamai, Normato, Buoyant, Intuit, Code Cloud, and then our media sponsors, LearnCates, Cube Events, Cube Careers, The Platformers, and KCD Bay Area. So thank you all for allowing us to make this